Alright, I apologize for stopping the last video so quickly, but my girlfriend came in with pizza and I had to take a quick break. Let's see. So yes, I was pressing C on my plum hummus so that they don't cook away the seeds, but what I initially came in here to do was to check and see what we've made so far. And again, you can see the question marks near a lot of these items because we have approximate numbers. I want to see, what did I have him make? I thought I had him make wheelbarrows. I don't want to build too much of anything, but I'm going to need a lot of beds. I'm going to need 7 beds anyway, so I'm going to have him build 7 beds. And I press Q, which is my building interaction button again. And then when I move the yellow X over the carpenter's workshop, I have this option. I press A, and then all I want to do is build beds. So A and then B, and I can just quickly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 build 7 beds. And what's going on? This miner. Oh, he's digging out the bedrooms. Okay. So I really want to get a mason shop working, but I don't really... Yeah, I guess I've got some stone accumulating. I'm going to actually reset. I'm going to have a priority build on another room up here because I really want... need to get my this looks weird to me. It looks weird to me because I don't have the entry hallway as wide as it's going to be eventually. Right, so this is going to be a little room where I'm going to build my initial workshops. I'm going to build a mason and a mechanic so I can build some traps. The mason, I can build some furniture and other basic stuff. And let's see, I will also need like an administrator's room. I'm going to build that in the rock area. And we'll build it off in this direction. We'll have a grand entryway. Let's see. Big. So there, that can be for an administrator. I just need to dig it out eventually, or dig it out right away. I need chests too. Whenever this guy is done, alright, chests. 1. So that's go back into the menu, and then I pushed A, H. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so I have 7 beds and 7 chests, and now all I need to do is build 7 cabinets and 7 doors, and I will be able to outfit all of our bedrooms. I'm going to build a mason's workshop, so I'm going to press B, and then for buildings, and then M. What? Oh, I need to press B and then W for workshops, and then mason. And go ahead and set our mason shop there. They can build it out of church. That is fine. And the mason should come in here right now and build his shop. There. Now, it's looking good. The trees are getting cut down, and there's a ton of lumber coming down from the trees. What's going on here with our food stockpile. If I press K, I can actually see the food stockpile. I can see, yeah, we brought in lots of our food. I need to have this other stockpile cleared out, and then we can start bringing in our furniture. actually press R, capital R in that menu, and W, so they'll use wheelbarrows, and we can start storing our barrels in there, hopefully. So yeah, this dwarf is running in with the wheelbarrow, and hopefully he's dropping stuff off. He might just have dropped the wheelbarrow off there. Alright, I need another stockpile room made. There's a couple of big stockpiles you need. You always need a big food stockpile, and you need a big stockpile for your finished goods. Let's see. At the end here, I want to have do a 5x5 room. 1, 3, 4, 5. And that'll be for our trade caravans that come in. We'll build a trade depot in there, and the trade caravans can come straight in and trade with us right there. I need to build a crafts dwarf's workshop, which is BWR, craft dwarf, and I need to have him make some rock crafts before traders come. You get elven traders, and if you trade them anything made out of wood, they are ethically appalled at your decision to cut down the trees, and they can eventually declare war on your fortress. So I want to. It's hard to. It's a pitfall. It's an easy pitfall to like trade them up, stick a bucket or something like that inside of just anything that's made out of wood. If you accidentally tag that and try to trade it to them, then they can become really. They'll get angry and just leave without trading. So rock crafts trade at a pretty good rate, and my Mason's Workshop. So add F, AF will give me cabinet 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I need, let's see, maybe my carpenter. Yeah, my carpenter's free, so I'm going to build a table and a chair. A couple, one for my general dwarf population to eat at, and one for my administrator dwarf. I'm going to actually have him start digging out the administrator room. If I press B and then B, this is how you set furniture. So I'm going to place a bed, and I move the cross to where I want to place it. If it turns green when you're able to place something, and then if I press enter, I select it. Alright, so I'm going to just go ahead and place beds in all these rooms that have been dug. There. And we should have, we have chests. So after I press enter, I get into this thing, and now I don't want to pick the bags, so I press minus to bring me to the bottom of the list, and because the lists wrap around. And just placing chests. I like to place the chests and beds and everything, so they kind of are in the same layout. Except for the side, apparently. Maybe we'll do a mirror layout. Oops. See, I placed a bag. The bag has that little mail symbol. I'm gonna place chest again. Alright. Now, we don't have any cabinets yet. Do I have any doors? I don't have any doors either. Alright. Those guys are building. My carpenter is busy. Alright. I need doors. I think I'm gonna build rock doors. 2, 3, 4. refrigerate. That's great. So, just gonna keep on digging administrator's room. Right away I can just, hopefully, yeah, there's a chair. And some dwarf will come and just place the chair. You can see them placing the furniture in the top left too. But after the table and chair is set up, I can tell my, I can assign my manager dwarf, and that'll help me do a lot of these tasks in a more automated fashion. Alright, the table is done. I'm gonna have them both finish up these builds. So I'll have some wooden doors and some next. So I'm going to change the designations on this guy. So as soon as he's done with that room, he should, or it's fine if he interrupts actually. I need to build one more bed because I stuck my bed into another room. So I'll have 8 beds built, but that's okay. I also need another chest and another cabinet. And I'm pressing P in this menu after I press plus or minus to select an item and then, or a task command, and I want, because I really want him to finish up the bedroom stuff for administrator dwarf. Okay. This next area over here is going to be that he's digging out is going to be a stockpile area for our finished goods, which is our other huge stockpile that we need. And then I'll use this final area, this big room at the bottom, for small stockpiles. Most of your stuff can fit into bins or barrels, so as long as you have plenty of bins and barrels made, your stockpiles will be pretty small. What's wrong with our furniture hauling? I guess our doors are very busy. If I press U, and I go to the unit screen, I can see a breakdown of all of our dwarves. I can see the animals that we have as pets. I can see the other animals, which we have giant moose and any dead or missing dwarves. Animals. And I can see there's a lot of sleeping. What are we looking for? We're looking for our expedition leader. And he's asleep in his bed. Okay, so if I press, how did I do that? I did U, and then I selected him, and then if I, on the bottom you can see Z goes to go to unit, this is kind of a zoom. So if I zoom to him, then that gives me, brings me to a room, and I can press F and actually follow him too. And maybe I'll do that. If I press V from this menu, it brings me to the same detailed character thing, and I'll press F and follow him. He should wake up and go about his tasks. Alright, we've got a bed built. I'll build a bed, cabinets. Hopefully he's got a chest. Yeah, he's got everything for him. So now, after he and the other dwarves are awake, they should bring this furniture in. I have some doors too. I'm going to start placing doors. My finished rooms. Okay, so now this is kind of the final weird quirk, is that you can place furniture all around, But you need to tell the dwarves what that furniture is there for, because you can have furniture that applies to inns or taverns or temples or bedrooms. So if I press Q and I go to the building thing menu, I can see that I have the option in this room. If I hold the yellow X over the barracks or the chest, then I can build a barracks or armory for storage. But I want to hold it over the bed and build a bedroom, so I do that. I press R, and then I could increase the size of the bed of the room by plus or minus, but I've got a door on there, so it limits it. And then if I just don't assign it, I can leave this unassigned, and dwarves will claim it on their own. So I want to make sure, and you can see that the room zone extends outside of the room if there's no door. If I try to decrease the size, yeah, I can decrease the size of the room, I guess. Just being lazy. So we can do that though, because why not? Alright, and then they can actually feel and treat it like it's their own, which means I think that they claim the bedroom for themselves, and they will actually store their own belongings in the chests and the cabinets. And after I'm waiting for them to get done, there we go. Oh yeah, I have the table. Set this out. I want to build doors. I have more doors now. Build a door there. It just really annoys me when the rooms are weirdly shaped. Okay, so plus to increase the size of this room, and the table I can build a dining room, and with the chair I can build a throne room or study. And I pressed R again after I had accidentally pressed enter to save or to set the room size, but I pressed R again to resize it. So you can always resize these things, and then I want to assign these to the expedition leader. Our expedition leader is going to be our manager dwarf. Whenever they get the bed in there, you can actually give them this bedroom. Alright, and why am I doing this? Why am I going through this trouble for the manager? I'll resize that after it's done. It's because if I press N, I can go to this menu where I actually have some special roles that I can assign to dwarves, and the expedition leader is generally granted to whoever is, I think, the most socially powerful. So there are skills like negotiation and lying and persuasion and intimidation, and the dwarf with the most of those tends to become your expedition leader. I'm going to assign him also to be a manager, and these roles tend to require like larger rooms and more stuff, so I can limit my need to the demand to create big rooms with fancy stuff in them by just assigning all these roles to one dwarf. So all of these are going to go to the expedition leader. And now if I look at, if I press enter again on him, I can see that he demands a meager office, and he has a meager office and a meager dining room, so he's pretty okay. Those demands will increase as we generate wealth. Oh, and I also want to do one more thing in that menu. If I go to Nobles, press N, and I go to Bookkeeping, there's a special settings menu for this, so I press S to go into the settings, and I want to set this to be the highest precision counts. So the bookkeeper will now, he should come and sit in his chair at his table and begin counting, taking stock, taking inventory of all the things, and then when we go to Z, all of these question marks will be gone. We'll have actual real information here about what we have, what we actually own, and then we'll actually have a number here as created wealth, and that's kind of the score of the game. As that number goes up, we will see. He's not done yet. He's back. He's at his chair now. And at some point, we're gonna have wealth and everything tallied up. I'll check that in a little bit. Alright, so we got this thing. Alright, I wanted this to be our other big stockpile so we can get everything else indoors. I'm pressing P, and then enter, and then shift diagonal top left, and then enter again. But before I press enter again, I want to tell it that it is for furniture. So there's our furniture stockpile. Oh, it has started raining. So there's weather, as you can see in this thing. There are seasons. There's all sorts of different trees and plants and animals. The animals herd. The liquids obey some basic physics. And in addition to that, he's coded in all of these crazy, realistic combat physics. So when an arrow flies through the air and hits something, like if it hits a character, the type of arrow and its weight is factored in as it strikes the metal, the type of metal that the armor is made out of determines like its tear factor, I think is what it's called, or whatever. There's a bunch of engineering stuff that he's built into it, so it's incredibly realistic. And all of the creatures also have body parts. So if I press V and I go and I look at here's our expedition leader, and this middle menu just lets me like focus on this little list, but this bottom list of stuff actually takes me to different perspectives of him, so I can go through inventory, and see everything that he is wearing. He's got a copper battle axe, and he's got some tears. I don't know if he got hurt recently. We can check that out. If I press P, I can set preferences. So if he's assigned to train an animal, what labors he's supposed to do. W gives us to wounds, which you can see all of his body parts that this creature has, and some of them have sub-body parts. So his head, if he can get hit in the eye, and his eye, he can go blind. He can get hit, and it'll tear through the steel of his armor, and then the leather underneath, and then the cloth, and then the skin, and the muscle, and the bone, and nerves will get hit, and they will lose functionality of limbs. And what is he crying about? He feels euphoric due to inebriation. Within the last season, he felt satisfied upon improving record keeping. He felt satisfied at work. He felt euphoric due to inebriation. He was annoyed after having to drink without a goblet, cup, or mug. So we try to limit some of this annoyance. I think I may have some extra tables and chairs. We're going to actually build another table and chair set in here, and we're going to make it a dining room for everybody so you can share that with everyone. And then we need to make some cups or mugs. So if I go to the Crafts Dwarfs thing and I go to rock, I can make some mugs so then they can drink. I can build some more thrones, tables, and doors. And I also want to start looking at getting a water supply. If your dwarves get injured, they will not drink booze. You need to have booze, or otherwise your dwarves will get unhappy over time. But an injured dwarf will not drink booze. So we need to build a little reservoir of water. This is going to be our dining room, and we can add on to it, but I'm going to build a little well room here, and I'm just going to lay it out real quick. I want, let's see, that's there. I'm going to go back up to the water level. Okay, here we go. I want to dig right up to the water, but not all the way. Let's see, pumps are 2 spaces wide. I'm going to actually pump the water in so that I know that I have good pressure and the water will fill quickly. So we're going to do 2 for the pump, and then we're going to have a hole in the ground, and then the hole is going to come out here. But I don't want to dig underneath the hole, because if you dig underneath and you have a dwarf mine or channel down, later it can cause a collapse, which can injure or kill your dwarves. So here we go. This looks very promising. Alright, so here we're going to dig down, channel down, there, take that out. I don't actually want this. I want the water to be underneath the well. So he should channel down. The channeling goes 1 layer below, so he's going to channel down to here, and then I'm going to dig this away, and I want this to end up right underneath our well. And I want this to be a channel too. Alright. And I want there to be like a reservoir. Symmetrical. Okay. So that'll dig out a little reservoir. We'll probably channel down another layer, at least in the middle, so that the water will pool underneath where it's going to go. Alright, I'm going to take out the last trailing thing there that we don't need. And that'll be good. So we're going to build our pump here. I need to chop down this tree. Alright. Now what I'm going to need to build a pump. Pumps are very useful because they clean the water, so you can pump murky or salty water into your fortress, and you can get clean, palatable, drinkable water. Alright, where is this? Alright, so I want to make sure this is all lined up. Yeah, so this is the tree I want to cut out, and I need to actually build a couple parts for my pump. If I go to the carpenter shop, I need to build a pipe section and a wooden corkscrew. And those are the big parts for the pump. I'm also going to go to the mason shop, and in order to build structures outdoors, you can build blocks first, which you take the rocks and you carve them into blocks, and it allows you to use the rocks a lot more efficiently. So I'll get 4 blocks from every rock and it'll take up the same space and have the same qualities, but just taking that extra step allows you to get more out of your materials. What do I have here? Dolomite. I think dolomite is a flux material. So if I go to Z and I go to stone, I can look. Yeah, dolomite is used to make steel and pig iron bar, so that's a flux material. And I want to, let's see what other kind of stocks we have. Does it automatically highlight them? Yeah, I think it automatically highlights them all green if you have them. So we have a couple. We have marble, and we have dolomite. That's great news, because now all we need is an iron ingot, and we're in business. We can have steel armor and some nice silver. Warhammers. Alright, but first I'm going to build another workshop. I'm going to build a mechanic shop. I'm going to use him to build. I'm not going to use my dolomite to build because I want to keep that. But I'm going to build some traps. Alright, let's see what else we got. Alright, final. We're going to build all of our other stockpiles over here. So, P. And these don't need to be huge because everything else should fit into bins. Let's see. We'll have a gem stockpile over here. We'll have cloth. I'm just gonna go in the list. And ammo. And let's see. I don't know if we have any leather, but I'll do leather. And then next layer I'll have my weapons, my armor. Should do it. Everything else I don't really make. Coins aren't really used in the game anymore. Sometimes you'll have a noble person mandate them. I don't really use them. I do want to get started on my beer production though. So in order to do that, I'm gonna build with the B menu, and I'm gonna press P for plot, and then I'm gonna extend a long farm plot here. This is the maximum length farm plot. I want, let's see, that's the same, it's a little bit more compact I think, but it's the same amount of land, and we're going to build a still here, so we're going to grow plump helmets here, we're going to turn them into dwarven wine, and have one more stockpile here that's just for seeds. So it's going to be food. I don't know why, but seeds are a subgroup of food, and I don't want to have all the food, so I am going to block off most of the stuff. So if I go into this next menu and I press B, you can see down here, this is kind of weird. The first column is controlled by enable, disable, and the second column is allowed by allow or block, and the final column is allowed to is controlled by permit or forbid. And I just want seeds, so I'm going to press P and just allow seeds there, and then I want to go to my food stockpile and change that so seeds are not allowed there. F for forbid the seeds, and then we should move the seeds up closer to my farm, and I can just check that stockpile visually and see what I've got there over time. Alright, my carpenter's done. I'll have him build 4 more beds, 4 more chests, and how about our mason? Can I build some more cabinets? He's building doors. Alright. Now that whoops, what is this? Oh, a thief. So what has happened here? I just gotta drag it, just popped me over here, and I think that this thief might have something of ours. I tend to ignore the thieves. Oh, there he is. So yeah, this thief it's a kobold. I don't know if I can check him out. Look at his inventory. He's wet. It looks like he's just wearing a loincloth and a tunic and a dagger, so he didn't manage to steal anything. And usually the thieves, yeah, I've never seen one attack actually. The thieves just run away after they get spotted, so I think it was probably a dog. The dogs tend to spot them. So, yeah, waiting for a mechanic. I think our mechanic dwarf he's splitting duties with the mason or something like that, and the mason is probably busy. Alright. We can set our final doors. All my rooms down here should have doors. Oops. Okay. That's good. There's some spillover. And let's look at the middle. Yeah, meteor office, meteor dining room. Oh, and we're going to set this. So this is a dining room for anyone, and it's a meeting hall, H. And so I assign that to a meeting hall, and then any people and animals who don't have much to do, they can go and hang out there. And that's pretty close to our food stockpile, so they can just come and get food and then be a couple steps away from from the dining room. The up and down takes just as much time to travel in as left and right. So instead of building like a bedroom, 10 paces to the right, you're better off building, another layer down. So then they only take 3 steps, and you can build a bunch more bedrooms nearby. All right, let's see what we got now. I'm going to go ahead and start channeling this out. And should get started on it soon. Where's our dude? So yeah, there's our minor dwarf. Oh, I need to build something. Okay, so one of the cool things about assigning a manager is that now I can press J, which brings us to the jobs. This is a crazy thing that you don't really need to look at, but it's got all of the jobs that have been assigned in the game. Most of them I think are automated, so storing stuff in stockpile and start buildings. But if I press M, that brings me to the manager screen, and this looks totally blank, but it's actually very useful. So I press Q for a new order, and I want to order a grate. You want to use a grate to filter your water through so that creatures and monsters and things can't enter your fortress through the hole. So I'm going to build just probably our I guess I was going to build a wooden one, but I want to kind of conserve our wood, and I only really need one grate. And then let's build a set of blocks. Build 15, so that'll give me actually 4 times 15, 60 building material, which would be great. I'm going to actually build a stockpile out here. Well, I'm not going to do that yet. Whenever I get a wave of migrants, I can go ahead and build that stockpile. And I want just have him repeatedly, continually build rock crafts right now. And I want to have a dump by him. So I'm going to build a quantum stockpile here, which they can store an infinite amount of things in one space as long as you create a dump. So I'm just going to create a one space dump with the I menu, zones, and then I'm going to dump all the rock that's kind of useless, and that'll be closest at hand to so D, B, and then D brings me to the dump menu. And I have all these brown rocks, and I think that brown stone is probably a gem, but it's probably pretty valueless. Looks good. I need to dig out a bunch more of this mudstone. I need to double check. You can dig your dwarves into a... Yeah, so he might be in a place where he actually can't get out. So it's nice to have a little access tunnel. So here I'm going to build an up-down stair, and that'll be adjacent. Oops. Just built a down stair. Alright, so there we go. The thing with the stairs is weird. There's, because of a quirk in the way they made it, everything has a wall and then a floor underneath it in the coding. So there are upstairs that just cut through the wall, and then there are downstairs that just cut through the floor, and then there are up downstairs that take it all out. So generally, if it's confusing, you can just channel down to enter the earth, or dig straight into the wall and then just build up downstairs and not worry about it. so that's good, and then I just want to dig. I'm going to channel this out. Done with that. Oh yeah, I connected him. Something else to dig. Okay. This is looking pretty good. I need to build my pump. Is this tree been chopped down? The tree is now getting chopped down. Whatever he's done with it. He's chopped down the tree. Our dude chopping down a tree. It's flashing, which means that he should be coming to do it. Oh, there he goes. So he just chopped down the tree. I am going to now build our pump. So B, M for machines, and then S for screw pump. And I press, use the UMKH menu again. I'm going to press button because that's the source of the water. And this should get me pump there, and then B, and then capital G gives me a floor grate. So I'm going to place my grate that I built there, and then I want this to be kind of enclosed. I want there to be eventually an access stairway so that a dwarf can come over here and use the pump without being attacked. So I'll tunnel over here from like this layer and then build a little stairway up. For right now it should be okay to just have the pump in the open. We should be able to fill our well, and that should actually last us a good year or two. Alright, so that's looking good. I want to make sure that the deepest part of my well is underneath my yeah, so here is the deepest part. So one last channel, and so this is getting deeper in the middle, and then I need to finally build channel here. Hopefully he won't kill himself. Let's see if he does. Okay. Yeah, if you have him channeled down, and it's like I did earlier where he's digging directly underneath him, and he digs into a cavern or he digs into a space that's already dug out, it'll cause a cave-in, and he will get very injured even from a single story fall, and I think that this like multi-story fall would have probably killed him, either from the fall itself or from debris flying, which you can see their injury reports, and the level of detail is kind of insane. Oh, there we go, migrants, finally. Alright, so these guys are going to run in, and depending on the amount of wealth that we've created, oh, I don't have a broker. Units, let's see, nobility, where's my broker? You have a broker, he hasn't done his broker tasks yet. Oh, he needs to have an appraisal skill. I don't have any appraisal skill. Let's see if I have any of these recruits. So in this menu now, if I press U, I can see all the new arrivals coming in, and they've all start with like random skills. I'm mostly interested in checking to see if we have someone with a broker skill at the moment. So if I go to N and I try to assign a broker, so if I press R, I can reassign, and there's nobody with any relevant skills. I don't know how you get appraisal. I guess I'll have to wait for it or something. I'm not sure. Alright, now I'm gonna hopefully, no, I need mechanisms. So one of these guys, one of these useless guys, okay, the siege engineer, he's going to be a general engineer. So I press Z on his name, and then it zooms to him, and then I'm going to do PL, preferences, labor, and engineering. I don't care for, I don't generally build siege weaponry, but I wanted to do mechanics and pump operating, and I also want him to do furnace operating and wood burning. Alright. When you get new dwarfs, it is a great time to change your stockpiles around, set furniture in rooms. They will all rapidly go and do everything that you need them to do very quickly. So I'm going to have, let's see, I'm going to build a couple more workshops outside here. I'm going to build a furnace, so BF, E takes us to our furnaces, and then a wood furnace, and just build that with blocks. I'm going to build a stockpile out here to store my blocks too, because my blocks I'm going to use to build walls to secure our fort. So we'll stockpile for bars and blocks, and then I need to set it so it doesn't start taking everything out here. Set and forbid metal, forbid my useful items, forbid all the blocks except for the stone. So now our blocks, so all of these dwarves that are free, you can see them immediately carrying all these blocks out. Exciting dwarf skills? I don't really have any exciting dwarf skills. So what's going to happen is, as time goes on, I'm going to just find dwarves that are kind of useless, that are standing around without any job, and assign them to tasks that are not being done. Oops. What? Well, we need to start planting plump helmets. Alright, so in order to work with this farm, I press Q, go to the farm, and then if I press A, B, C, and D, it cycles through different seasons, and different plants can grow at different seasons. So I just want plump helmets right now, because plump helmets are kind of the staple food. You make alcohol, and they can eat them in a pinch. I just want that field to just make plump helmets constantly. What are my stocks? Plants. Do I have plump helmets? Did I eat them all? I have 15. Oh, I think yeah, here I need food storage items. So you need to build something to store your stuff in. I need to build pots, so job manager, I need rock pots. You can build pots or barrels. I think there might be another liquid storage thing, but I'll have them build 30 pots. And all I got to do on this front here is I'm probably going to square it up a little bit, just so it looks kind of neat. Or maybe I'll just leave it au natural. But I'm going to extend a wall across this front. So B, C, and then W brings me to building these features. So then if I press the UMHK menu keys, I can extend how long I want this wall to be, and then one or two made out of all blocks. So if I press Shift Enter, it selects all of the blocks that I need, or until the end of that stack. And just blocks. I think they build faster with blocks too. That's okay, kind of like an off-kilter, weird entrance. Will be fine. Then I'll build a bridge here eventually, a drawbridge, and then the door will draw up and close us in when we have unpleasant guests or something. Alright, what else do we got going on here? Rock pots. People are doing stuff. Everybody's doing stuff. That's good. I'm gonna queue up some more tasks here, so I want wheelbarrow. Make me 20 wooden wheelbarrows. And how many people do I have now? I have 16. So I think, yeah, I had like 20 bedrooms kind of set, so I'll build 10 beds, rock cabinet, 10, wood, set chest. You can build chests out of metals and things like that too, but just use wood because I don't have my metal working up. So, but in that menu, the job menu, you can just start typing the item that you want, and then the search picks it up and it just asks you how many you want, and automatically your manager will send the queues to your various workshops. And if you have 2 or more workshops, he'll spread out the work queues so they're being done evenly. Alright. What do I have here? I have cabinets and some rock pots finally. So I don't want extra. Oops, stop the rule. I want to brew drinks from plants, and then I press R for repeat. I want to repeat that command constantly. Now I'm gonna set these doors, and you can see how fast they move when you got a lot of doors in here suddenly. This will be a much faster deployment, I guess is the right word. Chests. Oops. Alright. And one more cabinet here. There's the weird dwarf structure or something. The furniture doesn't block movement or anything like that, so you don't really need to worry about this stuff. It's just for sanity's sake or whatever that you keep things kind of tidy. Alright, but that's it. I think I'm going to call it a day on this one. We've got our walls being built. Oh yeah, here, I'll show you one final thing. BG. I'm going to build a bridge, and I use the UMHK menu again. Then I would extend this bridge, but there's one big pitfall, is that the raise direction, you use WADXS. So X and S makes it retract, and then X raises it down. What I want it to do is I want it to raise downwards. So that means that this part will fold up to this direction and it'll create a wall here. If you extract it, then it just disappears, and you can have a pit underneath with spikes or something like that. But when the bridge closes, it actually flings anything on it. So if you can time it right, then you get your goblins or whatever is attacking you on the bridge, and you can fling them, and then you can build spikes around it and impale them on your spikes. But that's it. I have to cut down these trees, and then I can build that bridge. But that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and maybe do some advanced stuff later. But I'm going to call this a day. Thank you.